Hi everyone. You hear dogs and cats and things in the background. You know what it is. I've been wanting to film a video for a while. I just have been so stinking busy. I'm going to do some makeup. I've already started my day. I already tested a student. My first student actually of the school year. She's so sweet. So I already started the day. But now I have a little more time to do some makeup and kind of chat about the start of the school year. I have started filming an office makeover. Look how cute I painted these flowers. That video hopefully will be coming soon. I need to edit it, but also I need to do the final touches. I found this vintage bookshelf and I bought these wall hooks so that it doesn't fall over. I need to install the little wall hooks for the bookshelf, and then I need to put all of my psychology books on there, and I want it to be like a really nice display of all of the books I have. I have so many books in my house that are in like boxes or bags or just chilling around, and I'm just trying to finally get like settled in this house. I've been in this house for a year and a half, but I've only done virtual school psychology since last November. And I've just been slowly working on getting like a functioning, organized office. During the summer, I spent a good week on this office. Also kind of a craft room, so I have like a sewing machine, I have a bunch of thread, I've been knitting and crocheting, so I have a closet that I fully organized. I'll have to show you. It's all recorded, I just haven't edited it. That closet is basically like a craft closet. Yeah, so it's coming together, but I've been so busy that I haven't quite finished it. Anywho, has anybody else started the school year? I started a while ago. I feel like some districts don't start until September, which is just like, it's so crazy how across the country there are different start times and stuff. It probably looks crazy me putting makeup on because I kind of just go ham. Do you guys want to see an update? Want to see my foster fail? My foster fail. His name is Cowboy. Just look at them. But I officially adopted him like a week and a half ago. I love him so much. And then I have another kitty I've been fostering who is a 3-legged kitty, and she's so sweet. He's 4 months old, and I think she's 5 or 6 months old. And I'm trying my best not to do a second foster fail. But like, I love her, and if I have the space, then why not, you know? While I get ready, maybe what I can do is talk about some school psychologist must-haves as people are getting their school year started. I would say number one, you need file folders, like manila envelopes type file folders. I don't know if you have like a hanging file system at your school or at home. I suggest getting some like cute envelopes. That's because I like making everything cute in my life so that I feel more desire to do it. I think it's an ADHD thing. But I got these cute little hanging file folders from Target. There normally is a really cute manila envelope pack at Target that I have not been able to find recently. That's the files I've used for like the last year, and they're just like kind of cute, like pink and green colors. So that would be number one, is getting some like file folders, whether they're just normal or they're cute. Next, I would say, is get a planner that works well for your brain. And I think by now, if you went to grad school and everything, you probably know what kind of planner you like. And of course, I bought 2 planners this year that I knew weren't like necessarily the layout I like. Now I'm using one of them, but I don't love it, and the other one's just off to the wayside. But I actually also bought a specific school psychologist planner that I was so sad I saw after I bought the first 2. So now technically I have 3 or more planners just chilling around. And I'm sure you've seen this going around the socials. But I got the academic planner school psychologist version, the soft back. I haven't like quite started using it yet or dove into it. Like, I can show you like why I purchased it in the first place and like kind of what my initial thoughts are, because I do have some initial thoughts. I think it's really nice and cool that there is something specifically for school psychs, and I think it's really special. However, I did notice that you can't tell online what quality the paper will be, and the best way I can explain it is it's a little see-through. So like, for example, there's this page and you can see the next pages writing through it, which is kind of just like a distraction for my brain, I guess, or like something that bothers me personally, but I don't think it matters really. But in general, the paper kind of reminds me actually of a coloring book type paper. So, which is funny because there's a really cute coloring book in here. The pages are thinner and a little more see-through like a coloring book. So that was one thing I noticed off the bat, and I would say that's like my main critique because it was pretty expensive. I think it was like over 40 bucks. I wish the paper was thicker and a little bit better quality so that like when I write on it with certain pens, it doesn't bleed through and things like that. But overall, I think it's really neat and I'm really excited to use it this year. I don't know if the hardcover does have thicker paper. It's possible. I have no idea because I didn't order it. So maybe if anybody orders it, get the hardcover and see if the paper quality is better. But that's something like personally with every notebook I buy. I won't buy certain notebooks that have certain paper that looks a little see-through or like tinged, you know, when they're tinged like just gray and not like crispy white or cream. It's the little things that my brain apparently latches onto. I know. Yeah, there's like cops flying by right now, like really fast out front. And my dogs are freaking out about it. What else is new? Okay, I love these ColourPop lippy things. These are ColourPop glowing lip in the shade La Cienega, I think. It's so pretty. Kind of just, it's like a chapstick almost, but like a colored chapstick, and it doesn't dry out. And then I got this cute little blue clip recently. I think I got it from like Five Below, where I got some other cute office supplies. They have a lot of affordable office supplies, but clearly it's more of like a, probably not an environmentally friendly store. But if you're on a budget and you need some cute office decor, for sure, check out Five Below. Okay, so I can talk a little bit more about this planner. We have the Academic School Psychologist Planner from Jessica Anderson at School Psych Resources Shop. And then there's Teachers Pay Teachers, School Psych Resource Shop. And I saw this all over Instagram, people reviewing it and such. And so I thought I could also review it. So the front page is really cute. It says, School Psych, caffeine-fueled, student-centered, function-based, and data-driven. And then there's some really cute coloring pages. And then one thing that I just think is so helpful, here's some disability categories through IDEA. So it talks about all the disability categories. And then this is one of the coolest things for me. As you see, I have a bell curve right here, and it's my favorite bell curve. I got it like in maybe a training one day, and it's like a thicker paper, and I framed it on the wall just so I have something to reference, and I think it's kind of cute as a school psych to have that. Like I have this interpretation evaluation bell curve, and it has standard scores, scale scores, T-scores, and percentile ranks. However, this psychometric conversion table has Z-scores, standard scores, scale scores, T-scores, percentile ranks, and interpretations that you can use. And I find I need this all the time when I'm writing reports, is I need to find a way, I just need something where it's always the same percentile ranks. I'm wondering if this is based on a 10-point standard deviation or 15. It does not say that, but I'm assuming it's a 15. So, okay, then there's like a task organizing page. Then there's contact list, password tracker, which is actually pretty cool. I need that for like my regular life. Did my cat bite these pages? Here's a cool thing, is a professional development tracker. I need to track that, I never do. And there's an order list of things you need to order, record forms, office supplies, and other supplies. This is also another reason why I got this, but it's cute. It's like an evaluation tracker, and so I already completed one, and I highlighted it, and then you can track how many evaluations and see like over time how many you do. I've seen a school psych on the internet count her evaluations with a marble jar, I think, and she like plops a marble or something. Who is it? I'll have to find her name and like put it in there, but she's really awesome. I like following her. And then there's an initial evaluation log. Then there's triannuals or reevals. I want to go through and fill all of that out. Then there's documents sent and received. Ooh, that's nice. I actually haven't even seen this. Good. I track all this online too, so it's nice if I have time to just like go to the paper and do it. And then there's a monthly calendar for evaluations, due dates. Month at a glance. Cute. Month at a glance has top priorities, to-do list, notes, monthly goals, evaluations due, evaluations to start, professional development I am grateful for, appointments, birthdays, and a productivity rating where you put your how many stars you are for how productive you've been. And then this is the week at a glance. So actually, this is the layout I like for my planners. I like when there are vertical days with times on the side and you can fill out like your days almost like a schedule. And you can plan, like, if you have a bunch of tasks, you can schedule in the time you're doing your tasks. So I enjoy this visual layout for my brain. I like how on the side there's also like a smaller glance and top priorities, call and email, testing, observations and reports, and just like how cool is it to have a planner that's literally built for a school psychologist? I think it's really cool. And then there's IEP meeting notes. This page. So we have, and you can check box initial reeval, program review, which is an interesting thing to call it, and then other, and then it has student information, and then notes, strengths, parent concerns, team concerns, and next steps, which I love. Team meeting notes, communication log. That's nice. Clearly I'm just looking through this like fully for the first time. Then there's a communication log, which I do really like. I don't know if I'd use this for parents or if I'd use it when I reached out to the SLP or a teacher or things like that. So this is really cool. I thought I'd review that. I'm excited to get the school year started. I'm gonna look to see if there's any questions that I can answer for you all. Is this an initial or I don't like hearing my own voice. So I see a question from Pumpkin Bean Latte. How long do you spend on each part of your job? Such as how long are testing sessions for students? So that's a great question. I can tell you what I personally do, but I think every school psych is a little bit different on what they prefer. For testing kids, I think about what my stamina is, and then I imagine for a child it might be even more challenging. A kiddo likely has a little bit less stamina than an adult does, and so if 2 hours is a long testing session for me, I imagine it's going to be very long for a kid. And so what I have been doing is I've been giving an hour and a half testing chunks. I plan on my first session is usually a student interview to get to know the kid. So virtually, I really want them to feel connected to me, to get their jitters out a little bit. I know it's kind of weird when you get called into an office with someone you haven't met before. And so I kind of like make a lot of jokes and get to know them. I ask them about how they're doing and how their week has been, and I like to learn about if they have siblings and what they like to do, things like that. So I have generally the first part of my first session with a student is a 30-minute maybe-ish interview, and then if I can tell that the kid is not ready to start testing, maybe we'll just do the interview and a little game that day. And then the next time we'll start testing. Or for example, today I interviewed the kid and then we did one subtest. We did similarities on the WISC. She did really well on that, so that took a long time. So the whole session was an hour long. But if I actually start testing, like my second session would just be testing and not an interview, then I would give it an hour and a half and I would do as much as I could with the kiddo. Some kiddos, an hour and a half is way too long and they are rolling around their chair, getting up, when are we done, all that stuff. And so I might make those sessions a little shorter for those kiddos. If there's a kid who has really great stamina, wants to keep going, then an hour and a half would be like the goal for them. So I would say that it depends on my caseload, but there have been weeks where I do 4 or 5 testing sessions in 1 week, and each of them are an hour and a half, if that helps. A lot of my job virtually right now, a lot of paperwork, and then a lot of figuring out the state laws. I work in Oregon and I did not know Oregon state laws before. I do a lot of report writing. There's a lot of like planning with evaluations, following up on different steps. I sometimes am a case manager, and so that means that I'm generating all of the consent forms and referrals in the database for special education paperwork. Things like that, follow-up emails, making sure the team's on the same page, planning my testing, what I'm going to be doing. There's a lot of meeting time, like a lot of Google Meet meetings that I spend time doing. Yeah, but every day is different. Some days there might be like a crisis that I help support with. Some days I will be doing a lot of consultation with teachers. I would say there's a lot of consultation virtually and in person, obviously. I don't know if that really answers the question. How do you observe students as a remote school psychologist? For brick and mortar, I'm used to completing 1 social and 1 classroom observation for an eval. Also, how do you take behavior data for an FBA remotely? That's from Megan McCarthy 5444444 So that's a great question. So different school psychs who are virtual maybe would suggest different things. Typically, when I'm testing a kiddo, I'm testing them, doing a cognitive, an achievement, or interviewing them, whatever it might be. And so I do consider that an observation. So I do like a really in-depth testing observation. I will observe how they're doing, and I definitely consider that an observation. What I do is I work with my team to help me collect observations, since I truly believe it should be a team effort having their opinion on a student. And so the special education teacher will do maybe the classroom observation and provide that to me for my report. If there's a speech language pathologist working on the report, maybe they do an observation as well. And so it's kind of more like delegating to the team what you need from them. If we need 3 observations, I'll do testing observations and interview observations. Someone will do a classroom observation. Someone will do a recess lunch observation. And so it's really not that hard. Some school psychs will have their proctor set up a computer in front of the child and watch them in their classroom environment, and it's actually fine because it's not very invasive. It's just a computer sitting there. And so I haven't done that yet, but that's what some people do. But yeah, I get a lot of my observations from testing the kid. And then I rely on the expertise of other professionals to also provide observation. For FBA behavior data, and FBAs typically should be a team effort, and I know like a lot of places it all goes on the school psychologist or the social worker, but it really should be a full team effort, and we should be doing consultation to train the special education teacher and the general education teacher how to collect appropriate data. So I would never just be like, go collect data and not give them guidance, but typically I will have an ABC data form that I provide to the general education teacher and the special education teacher. I train them on how to collect the data, and then they are typically responsible for collecting ABC data because they're the ones who are in the classroom with the kid all the time, the general education teacher specifically. So I would say that like typically for an FBA when I'm remote, I would be consulting and training teachers on how to collect appropriate ABC data. I would interview the kid myself, and that's where I would get more observations, and then I would do a lot of interviews with the team and everybody else, and that's how I would collect that data. In person, yeah, I would probably go collect ABC data as much as I could, but that again, like I guess every district's different, but really it should be a full team effort, and it should not just solely be on one person. So that's at least my opinion and what I believe. Someone said, scoring achievement tests is hard. I find it easier to do it immediately after each session rather than leaving it for when it's all finished. And before that, they said, I have the same issue around report writing. Someone told me something that I try to remember, but is still an issue for me. That person said it's better to have a pretty good finished report than to have a perfect report in progress or overdue. I thought that was so good. When I read that, I was like, wow, that's so correct. And I have to remember that, and I appreciate you for telling us that. And then the other comment they made before was, scoring achievement tests is hard. I find it easier to do it immediately after each session rather than leaving it all for when it's finished. I agree. It's really easy to like test a kid, and like it's exhausting to test a kid sometimes for me, and then I just put it all in their file and don't look at it until later when it's due. But it really is better to, after you do each subtest and you're done with your testing session, to go through and score it. Once you go down to sit and score and write the report, it's a lot better. So I totally agree with that. So someone said, incoming intern here, I completely agree about reports being a complex situation to deal with, because in this video I was talking about my issues with report writing, which is why I overthink it. I write like really extensive reports. I just really feel passionately about my reports, and then I can like sometimes spend way too many hours on it. So that's what these people are responding to. I'm definitely the most worried about taking the leap into writing all the reports necessary and wondering if they'll be good enough. Grad school can't prepare you enough for the real world. Do you have any tips for new intern school psychs for the report writing and making it detailed enough yet digestible? I think that is something that just takes, I feel like, a lot of practice. And I think a good rule of thumb that I learned in grad school is that we should be writing the reports, I think it was at a 10th grade reading level. And so you expect that maybe like every parent who's going to read a report can read to the 10th grade reading level, is how we were trained. And so that means making your report digestible for almost anybody to pick up who would need to read it. And that is really, really hard. But I think like in our practice and working with parents in all of our meetings, it's always important to remember that like acronyms, not everyone knows our acronyms. So when you're meeting with parents, a huge part of our practice is refining and honing how we explain things and making it digestible. So I think really it's just practice makes perfect. Reread your paragraph and think, if my best friend who doesn't work in school psychology read this report, would they understand it? Would my mom understand this report if I gave it to them? Would my cousin who's in 10th grade be able to pick up this report and really understand it? And that's kind of how I go about it. I do think that sometimes I can like be just working really hard and write in more technical jargon, but it's really important to, if you are using technical jargon, break it down so that it makes sense. And I think also another tip I have is most people don't read the reports, they read the summary page. And so I really work to make the summary the most concise and digestible. So I explain like a little snippet of the cog, a little snippet of the achievement, a little snippet of behavior and social emotional rating skills, and kind of tie it together. You want your reports to have a golden thread throughout your report that kind of ties it together to tell a story for this kiddo, and a story that supports or does not support qualification of special education. And again, at the end of the report, always include that it's a team choice. Like, our report is not the only thing that matters. And so yeah, I would say focus on making it digestible at a 10th grade reading level, whatever you expect that would be. It's the hard part. Reread some of your statements and think, could my mom or my dad or my brother pick this up and read it and understand it as not a school psychologist? I would say if you have more jargon, put it in the body of the report. Try not to, but make sure the summary of the report is the most easy to digest and simplified. And then, yeah, always put a statement at the end saying that this report is not the only thing that is going to qualify the kiddo, and it's a team choice. I hope that was a good suggestion. That's all I have today. I need to get ready for a student support team meeting soon, so I'm gonna get off of here. But again, keep commenting your questions below. Give it a like, a thumbs up, subscribe if you are enjoying this content. I want to keep on making more, and yeah, hopefully I can. Thank you guys.